to find that sword to be able to, say, kill Aghanim.
And we're off. Piece of heart in the sanctuary. The other thing we should talk about is hard mode. So hard mode, we take out a sword. I mean, there's still 4 swords in the pool, but you can only get 3. There's 2 mail upgrades, but you can only get 1. Same with shield upgrades. They take out 6 heart containers, but with retro mode, there's 4 heart containers that are not accounted for in that. So usually you have a limit of 14. I'm not sure if that fully applies in retro here, but it might. You might be able to actually go over 14 hearts. I'm not 100% sure on that. But we're seeing them start the Houlihan play.
Yeah, it's not something that you see often in any other mode these days, but with retro, you're going to be using rupees enough, and you want to be able to buy keys if you run into a shop, so getting the money right off the bat is usually pretty helpful.
And runners are diverging. GTG is heading up to the uncle. Swerb's finding a red boomerang in his house.
Get a quick map check. Hera and Eastern are regular crystals. Desert is a non-green pendant. So, nothing exciting in the light world, but 2 crystals, so that's at least nice to see.
Now, one thing worth mentioning with that boomerang is because this is hard mode, it will not stun enemies. You can still use it for retrieving things, hitting switches, stuff like that, but it cannot be used for stunning enemies this time.
Get a bug net in this chest in the sewers here, so that is, completely useless as well. Hard mode prevents you from catching fairies, so if they really want to, they can catch a bee and, use that, but if they want anything of, value like a fairy, no, can't do it.
So Swerve's going to check the race game for us. Piece of heart. Might go. I don't think he'll go for that action. I was going to say he might because of the lower health pool, but that's a bit of a time commitment. And yeah, he's not going to go for that.
There's a heart container on the library, so depending on where boots are, that may never be picked up.
And as I mentioned with the retro mode, there are 4 extra heart containers in Take Any Caves. So you can get the health a little easier here, even though it is hard mode.
Yep, and we're seeing Swerb enter into a house that, nobody ever goes into, because it's useless. Reason being, he's looking for those Take Any Caves. Same thing with GTG going into the chest cave down here.
Yeah, there's around 25 entrances that could be a Take Any Cave. We also might see the runners look into the shops to see if they can find shops that sell keys, or the wooden arrow that you have to buy to be able to fire the bow.
Well, currently there's a glitch in retro mode that allows you to fire the bow without buying the wooden arrows, but you still want to pick it up because, from my understanding, with that glitch, you can't actually change to silvers when you try to.
And Swerb finds a key shop. He buys the keys and some bombs. Doesn't buy the wooden arrow for now. Which is actually a smart move because he still needs to buy the bottle vendor.
Bottle vendor just gives him a piece of heart, so, not the worst thing in the world, but not all that exciting.
Well, that was a little bit bigger than a piece. That was a full heart.
Now we're into the well, 50 bucks out of the first chest. The power glove out of the second is a nice little pickup.
There's our first generic key from a chest, and some rupees for buying more.
You can have so many keys.
And SD
Desert was the green pendant. I don't know why I saw that as red when GTG pulled it up, but yeah, that's definitely the green pendant on Desert.
Completely missed you saying that. So we see GTG is a little bit more deliberate about checking for these take-any's than Swerb is. So far, it hasn't paid off, though. We do find a lamp in Blind's hideout.
Yep, and that lamp kind of is connected to the worst possible scenario, and why it is important early to look for the take any's is that, you know, that sword could be required for you to go up and fight Aghanim, and if you don't find it, because you're skipping all those take any's, you spend a lot of time going back around researching areas to try to find out where it's at.
At the same time, though, this could be a strategy that pays off for Swerb if, you know, if GTG takes a lot of time checking for take any's, it's a little extra time Swerb can make up here. Not that he's behind, sorry, kind of make up is the wrong word, but a little time he can pull ahead of GTG there. But at the same time, if GTG gets the sword first, that could hurt Swerb.
Yeah, it's a pretty delicate balance in retro mode, and because of the lack of play it gets, I don't think anyone's really run the numbers, so to speak, in terms of what's the better option on that front.
So Swerb's returning to Sanctuary. This looks like probably a back of escape play. Yep, he's gonna go check back of escape.
Yeah, get the glove, no reason not to do it. It's very quick. You're going to save and quit out of it into whatever you do next regardless, so might as well just knock it out right away. That rat there dropping a fairy. If he had been low on health, the fairy only restores, or I believe the fairy is the same function when it's on the ground in hard mode. It's just that you can't catch it is the difference.
Now, Swerb decides to save and quit right after that. Interesting decision. He could have got to the back chest and used 2 keys, but he wouldn't have been able to kill the key rats. So he would have had to leave that key behind. And, like I said, he had to use 2 keys. So, you know, it's a saving method for now to not go check that chest.
Yeah, I mean, you could have used bombs to kill the rat. I think the boomerang might also kill it. There's a cane of Samaria, though. That'll definitely kill some stuff.
Yeah, I forgot he's got bombs to kill things, so that would work too. You know, we're seeing GTG continue to check these take any caves.
Yep, and he finds one. There's a free heart container.
And there's our Titan's mitts.
That's pretty quick.
Just one item from Dark World access at this point. We need that Moon Pearl. Just bombs at Lumberjack, so we won't need Aga for that. And GGG is going to head up right up Death Mountain, it looks like. Nope, he's going back. I think he remembered there's another take any cave that could be back here.
Seems that way, and Swerb is using the Cane of Samara to try to get rid of the rest of these mini Moldorms. Instead of throwing more bombs at it, takes them out, and here we go. Another key, $5, another $5, some bombs, and a heart piece. So those $5 rupees there that we keep seeing so many times, it's because in hard mode they take out the heart containers, and all the health stuff they take out is replaced by 5 rupees.
And that's in addition to all the 10 arrow drops that they take out, which are replaced by 5 rupees.
Yep, so the combination of hard and retro is going to be a lot of blue rupees.
But the old man has a red one.
He's been saving up.
So Swerve's gonna check these front 2 chests. Or the uncle in the front chest, get the same stuff. We'll see if he decides to go into the front of escape after this.
Yeah, magic would be a little bit tight, but it wouldn't be impossible for sure.
There's some blue mail that GTG probably wants. Unfortunately, it's mirror locked.
just some money in front of the hint tile, going with the go straight here so you can check this instead of trying to skip it.
Generic key in Mimic Cave, it's a good thing to remember, but it depends on where you are at that point if you're gonna actually grab that or not.
Yeah, it pretty much means you can safely go through T-Rock without a mirror and not worry about not getting Mimic Cave. But if you're on your way through and you have the mirror, you probably want to grab it.
Yeah, it depends on what your key situation is gonna be at that point too.
True. Very true.
So we're gonna see probably Swerb do some Mario strats along with bomb strats to get through this I can't think of the name right now.
This card is it's giving him some problems.
But GTG is gonna go through the sewers here and try to find what's in the sewer chest. Unfortunately, you cannot get this rat down.
And this is one thing worth noting that I don't think we mentioned earlier. With the addition of generic keys, dungeon item counts also change. Anything that has small keys in the dungeon, those keys can now be any random item. So for something like Eastern, doesn't matter because it has no small keys. But something like Pod suddenly has 11 items in it. So it can make a big difference on dungeon choice.
Yeah, and that can also play into like definitely which dungeons you can choose. Like, for example, Meyer and Skull Woods. Not only do they have 5 items now, but they also have an abundance of extra keys you could stash. Since pot keys and anything that drops from an enemy stays the same. So Swerb is setting up for a death warp as he gets the big key, gets the chest of bombs.
Now gonna go the other way through the dark rooms to get to that same chest that GTG just got a bit ago, as he heads down through South Shore, kind of following up what Swerve had already done.
So we're starting to run out of locations on where we need to at least find some progression. We still have Saharsla and all of Eastern, and we do have Ice Rod Cave, that's in Logic. Beyond that, the only other thing that'd be in Logic, I think, is Agina and Zora.
That sounds about right. I'm gonna be gonna feel bad for Swerve if it turns out that Ice Rod Cave is anything important, because it would follow the age-old randomizer rule of Ice Rod Cave is always important when you don't check it.
It depends on how much it blocks his access. Like, if it says Moon Pearl, he'll probably find it a little sooner, but if it's, like, the Ice Rod, then he's in trouble. But obviously we don't even know what's in there. That could all be a moot point. I hope we didn't just curse him.
I hope so too. I feel like I'm involved if we did. We're going to be finding out what is over there momentarily on GTG's side, and we're also checking the old man's closet in the meantime. The first sword, a shirt, and $50. Well, that's not really progression, but no one is going to complain.
Well, that could be progression if we find another sword or the magic cape.
True. And SAGTG going to check the cave over here, as well as this little cave underneath the staircase, looking for more take-any's.
No take any, but he's gonna grab $20.
Yeah, you already went through the screen transition, why not?
Oh, that's big.
Okay, yeah, it's a big one.
That's likely our progression. Because that opens up Eastern Death Mountain with 8 items. Oh, but Swerb at least finds something good too, the mirror. That would probably let him get to Hera. Unfortunately, wouldn't let him do much else at this point.
Yep, and of course, for GTG's downside here is he's not heading to Eastern because he got that hook shot, so he is going to miss out on the sword. But he's going to have 8 items to check over here. He can also go to the Dark World and do Super Bunny Cave, which isn't in logic, but hey, there's a reason that cave is named Super Bunny.
That wasn't a take any cave, GGG. But this one could be.
No, this one's that one's a multi-entrance cave as well. There's only the one next to Paradox Cave in the middle here is the only single entrance.
Yep, you're right. There is a shop in here, though, if GGG wants to check it. Swerb gets a hint about the purple chest. We will not be seeing that today.
I know one thing with retro mode is that if you've played a lot of entrance before, especially before the newer versions of entrance, it tends to be pretty simple to keep track of what caves could be take-any's, just because you're used to the split between single and multi-entrance caves that used to be very important for entrance.
There's a bottle and our Moon Pearl, so that's Dark World access. So that's hook shots. And the good thing is, if that hook shot is limiting to the east side access right now, Swerb will eventually have to get it. So it shouldn't put him too far behind unless he finds the hammer.
Yep, it may actually be more of a detriment to GTG having found it, because who knows when he's going to get over to Eastern for that sword and that mirror and that mail upgrade.
Well, he can grab the mail upgrade. No, never mind. That's Swerb. Nope, that's what I was going to say.
Yep, by the time he heads back, that mail upgrade is just going to be $20. At least I think it becomes a 20. It might become 5.
Oh, nice 20 rupee tree pull for Swerb there. So far, they are pretty flush with money. So, yeah, they're in pretty good shape.
Yep, I mean, you do blow through rupees very quick in this mode. But at the same time, they've got over 1,000 less than 20 minutes in. That's a solid position.
So, by grabbing that Moon Pearl, GTG now has 6 more items he can check up here. Spy Cave's not in logic yet because he does not have the hammer or an invincibility item. He checks just a cave to see if it's a key shop. It's not. I believe there's 4 key shops and 5 regular shops in this mode.
That sounds about accurate. I know in V29 there were some crashing issues with Retro for SD to SNES, so a lot of people never really played it because it might crash. And that's kind of, I think, a big chunk of why it went under the radar like it did.
Oh, there's some flippers for GTG. And Swerv's going to make the dip into Hera.
Yep, he's got a fire source and a sword, so he can full clear it. So no issues on that front. Just going to be, you know, a little bit slower than maybe if there's another sword out there somewhere.
We had a quick map check from GTG. I didn't catch most of it. I saw Swamp and Mire as red crystals. That was about it.
I want to say it was Skullwoods and Mire were the red crystals, and then T-Rock and Ice were our 2 other pendants.
Yeah, you're right. Skullwoods. I said swamp instead. But yeah, we also did see Turtle Rock and its ether to get in today.
Yep, with it being a pendant, you know, everyone's going to hope they don't need to go in there ever. But good to know what it requires in case you find that ether medallion and you're like, where should I go? T-Rock, of course, benefiting from the lack of keys like Pod, goes from 5 items to 9 items, so that is a pretty lucrative spot to go.
It's actually all the way up to 11 items. Yeah, I think that was a pretty obvious hint. So the other thing Swerve's going to be counting for here is to see if he finds 3 items, because if he gets less than 3, that means the basement has something. Well, a sick kid check gets us his allowance.
Unfortunately, I haven't been counting items in Hera very well. I know you got 1 there, at the very least.
See if Swerve does a map, brings out or does a menu quick. Probably won't, because you don't need a menu for Moldorm.
Yep, if he had Hammer, he would switch to it, but without that, it's just good old vanilla Moldarm.
No, GGG is stocking up on... Oh, Swerve, not the center hole.
Feels bad, man.
But meanwhile, GGG is stocking up on keys. This could just be stocking up on keys for now. Could also be indicating indication to go to Pod a little later, since that requires a lot of keys. We'll have to see.
And worth noting that Skullwoods, the guaranteed key chest, is still a guaranteed key chest in Retro. So if you want to get a Skullwoods check, you can get everything checked in there without spending a single key, which is very nice. Oh, that's a vanilla stun prize right there. And okay, Swerb gets through Angry Trolldorm.
Just 5 rupees for his troubles. But he also gets a crystal.
Yeah, first crystal is nice.
The potentially good thing for him is he has not found progression, so this is more and more likely going to force him back towards Ice Rod Cave to get that hook shot.
Yep, and he's going back in, so he must have gotten both map and compass while I was in here, and is heading down to the basement. Well, he got powder.
I think that was his last item. He just didn't check that chest originally in case he needed to go back there. Or did he? There's no map on his chart or in his menu, so map's in the basement.
I like that popping back in and being like, okay, let me just make sure before I leave. But yeah, powder is, you know, you can use it for Magic Bat, and that's about it in hard mode. It can still kill anti-fairies, but they turn into a single heart instead of a fairy. Same thing with bunny beams. You can also still use it to kill dead rocks, but not super useful in hard mode.
Back over on GTG's side, so far I don't think he's found anything in Skullwoods. He just picked up the big key. So I can go check the big chest at least. And where is Swerb going? Looks like he's heading towards Ice Rod Cave.
And you know at the moment he's just having some choice words under his breath about how he skipped Ice Rod Cave and of course it's something important and yada yada yada.
Well, I think his plan here is to check Ice Rod Cave, and then if he finds nothing there, he's gonna fake flipper. Ooh. But he'll find his
hammer.
Hammer and Skullwoods. That's a nice find.
Yep, especially for not having the sword, and having that hammer pop up is quite a plus. But yeah, Swerb, like you were saying, may want to fake Flipper, even though without the Moon Pearl, can't do Waterfall Fairy with it.
GG's can give us a look at the bumper ledge. Just a blue rupee. Somebody threw some pocket change up there.
Maybe they stole whatever was actually up there and was just like, yeah, I gotta leave something in place. Here, what's in my pocket? Oh, $5, okay.
Well, Swerb checking for a couple more take any caves. Doesn't find anything there. So far, we've only seen one take any cave and just a heart container from it.
Yeah, but he is also making liberal use of the hookshot to stun enemies, while the boomerang doesn't stun hard mode. Hookshot still works exactly as you would expect. So likely here, he's going to finish checking Village of Outcasts and then go clear out Thieves Town. Okay, Bumble Hut has 3 bombs. Also, Swerb with the mirror could enter into this entrance of Paradox Cave and not have to be concerned about it. So he decided to check that cave next door to make sure if it was anything important before heading in.
So yeah, it looks like GTG is starting to pull ahead a bit, but at the same time, Swerb still has that mirror advantage. If that mirror leads to something, he still could play to his benefits.
Yeah, if nothing else, it's at least going to save him some time on routing the checks with the mirror in, because GTG is going to have to double up on him eventually, unless by some off chance he just never needs to check them.
GG tries to hookshot that pots. The thing is, you can't hookshot pots with anti-fairies under them.
Oh, you can. You have a very small window of space where it works. It's kind of like up near the corners, you can hit them and get pulled in. It's just, you gotta be a very specific spot to make it work. And nothing of note in the front of Thieves Town. We'll be heading to the back with Hammer and Samari. He's got a couple ways to kill Blind, so no worries there, but is a little bit low on health at the moment.
So, looking at what they've got early, I'm starting to think we're going to see an early swamp play here. Because we know where the flippers are, we've got the mirror, we've got the hookshot, we know where the hammer is. So we've got all the elements to swamp there, and pretty early in the seed.
Yeah, there's that delicate balance of trying to figure out if it's actually, worth going in there early, but it's a lot of items. It's usually worth it when you have everything that you need so early like this.
Yeah, it's tough to kind of figure out what the logic wants you to do. I mean, I think people have said this, like, nobody can accurately read what the logic wants you to do, but based on what you get, you can sometimes figure it out. We got a hint on left side Misery Mara. I think it's at the big keys over there.
Yep, the big key and some cash. So, you really hope the big key is in the first chest you open over there. We are heading over to the attic chest. GTG is making a point of killing these crickets, both probably in hopes of some hearts and because they do 2 hearts of damage, and he would rather not die up here.
Yeah, that hook shot can be useful for killing certain enemies that die in one hit to them.
Good old hookshot. The best item in it, or the best weapon in Randomizer half the time.
So Swerb has his hook shot, he's got his flippers. Let's see what he chooses to do.
Looks like he's going to be making the same trip over to Village of Outcasts and Thieves Town. Will be a question of if he dips into Skull Woods or not in the end.
So, SA is going to go check the big chest. Since this is retro mode, he can just use one of his 7 keys to do it. Swerb is not going to check Skull Woods for now, so he's not going to get that hammer.
Yeah, it's going to be relatively Hey, the small key was in the big chest.
So, key for key trade.
But yeah, it's going to be unfortunate for Swerb to not have that hammer right away, because it just makes Dark World access such a pain in the vast majority of situations to not have that. It also means that if he gets around to the high cave area, he can't choose to dip in the swamp right then. Well, he could, but he would only be able to check one chest, not the whole thing.
So GTG is going to have to do a hammer blind, which isn't too bad. A little trickier than sword blind, though. But only in green mail, he's got to be very careful.
I'm not gonna lie, in his situation, I 100% would have chosen to do Samaria blind.
Oh, if he gets hit, he's down. And Swerve's actually skipping on Thieves Town for now. He's going to do overworld checks first.
And GTG decides to leave blind behind for the moment, come back later.
Yeah, I don't blame him in this situation. You get your one attempt in, come back later, it's easy enough to get there.
Exactly. So we're getting hammer pegs on GTG's side, and digging game on Swerb side, and digging game wins the speed contest.
But there's a Bombos medallion in the peg game. That's not really a game, but Bombos have pegs, and if Swerve's picking up the blacksmith, he might get that Bombos soon as well. Don't know if it's needed yet, though.
Well, he doesn't have hammer, so he won't be getting it right now, at least.
But if Swerve picks it up, he could use it.
Interestingly, that Bombos medallion does give GTG the ability to full clear Ice Palace.
This is where the mirror could start playing off for Swerve, is he's being able to do a couple extra checks that GTG couldn't do.
Yep, although now he's gonna have to walk all the way back up to that portal to the Dark World, just to walk all the way back down to keep going through this loop.
Now, of course, on the other side, though, Swerve doesn't have the hammer. He can't get back to his... Oh, yeah, that's what I think you're just saying. I thought you were referring to GTG there, who just found a sword on Stumpy.
And a few slashes at Stumpy. Like, I wish I had this a couple moments ago before that whole blind fight thing. Hey, they're locksmiths today.
So Swerve looks like he's going to head straight back for that Dark World portal after checking Sick Kid. But on GTG's side, time for a Hype Cave Index.
I'm gonna guess 1 out of 10.
I'm going to go 5.
Well, there's a 5. And a 20. And another 5. And a 20. And another 5.
I think we were both wrong. That's a 0.
That is definitely a 0. And that was... Actually, you know what? I give that some credit because it was 520, 525. It was the perfect back and forth.
Okay, fair enough.
Now Swerve heads into Thieves Town with the blacksmith completed, the extra key gained, and GTG is going to go check this hint in here.
We got that already?
Thanks, game. Thanks, buddy.
Alright, so for GTG, what's his next play now? Looks like maybe he's gonna head for pod.
Yeah, it looks like it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a fan of making the Ice Palace play right now, but pod is definitely the safer and more item-dense play, so probably the better option.
But he's got to be careful. He's down to half a heart. Now, this could also be a catfish pyramid check, too. And yeah, it actually looks like at least pyramid to start.
Yeah, pyramid at least is usually a good idea to get out of the way while going to pod. Catfish, there's never a good time for it. You just kind of choose to do it at some point.
Yeah, without the mirror, it's not a good play for him. He'd only be able to check catfish. If Swerb eventually comes up here, he's got the mirror and flippers. He could do everything there right now. All GTG finds on the pyramid is 5 rupees. So many blue rupees that you're starting to think you're playing the Ocarina of Time randomizer.
Sounds about accurate. Maybe this mode needs a new name. So we are on our way over to Catfish, indeed. He will get that check. He's also going to check for a take any here and find a shop.
Yeah, that couldn't have been a take any. That had to be a shop.
That's true. I'm not sure. I might have actually, if I were him, bought that red potion just to have more than half a heart for this, just because this is a pretty large time loss if he takes the death.
Yeah, if he takes a death too, he's not coming back up here for a long time.
And Swerb, no, Swerb. Swerb, you missed the bomb.
Oh, he's not going to be happy about that in a minute.
Yeah, he is going to be very upset when he gets back to the boss room.
I don't know if he threw the bomb there and just left too early, but yeah, if you throw the bomb but don't wait for it to detonate and you leave the room, you actually have to stay in the room until you see the hole open. If you leave any sooner, it won't open.
Yeah, in Swerve's case, he actually threw the bomb too high. I didn't even know that was actually possible, but he threw it up high enough where it just exploded above the hole. We are... Oop, go ahead.
So for Swerb, he's going to be a little wondering if there's anything in this chest over here. Luckily for him, we know it's just a generic key. He doesn't need to come back for that, but when you come in here without the hammer, you always wonder if that chest has something. Like an ice rod.
Yeah, pretty much.
Not speaking from personal experience or anything, maybe.
No, not at all. We are going to see a much easier blind fight eventually, but Swerve has realized the error of his ways and is going to now take the long trek back up to the attic.
That was almost a little funny. He just walks up there and he's like, wait, what's going on? Why is nothing happening?
Yep, you get so used to the fight just starting, you didn't even notice the light wasn't there. Just, okay, let's go.
Oh, he can't go that way because the switch is up. He can just go to the door up here, though.
Waterfall Fairy with 2 blue rupees. Man, that was a worthwhile trip right there.
Blue rupee there. Now this is where SE or GTG could make an interesting play. I don't think he's found anything since he saved and quit. If Zora's got nothing, I would not be surprised if he did a soft reset and saved his rupees.
Yeah, I would 100% support that thought. He has not gotten anything of value since the save and quit. So as long as this is nothing, it's probably best off to do that. Also, I just realized Swerb is going to have to go back downstairs and get the maiden again.
That's right, yeah, because you can't take the maiden through the lit rooms. So, yeah, this is costing him a couple minutes. Now, GGG did save and quit there. Probably just, not thinking about it. Can't blame him for that.
Yeah, hard reset strats are useful to make use of when you get them, but they're usually not on everyone's mind at all the times.
And the only thing I keep it on my mind for is mushroom, if I don't have powder yet. GGG's not going to come and check the escape area. We know there's nothing down here.
He's going to have to make his way to Eastern eventually for the mirror. And then, other than that, we're at the kind of impasse of which choice nobody wants to make is the right choice nobody wants to make.
Yeah, at this point, both runners have a major item they have available that they haven't gone to check yet. Swerb and the hammer, GGG, and in the mirror.
Swerb probably thankful that his fight is actually starting this time.
Pretty well going on script so far. And that's about as good as it can go. Just
a beautiful fight.
Just a map on blind though. GGG might have known that when he left. So Swerb gets his second crystal. He's up on two. He's got 2 crystals so far. Still too early to really say which way this race is going though.
Yep, on the flip side, you can kind of see the amount that GTG has checked extra, in a sense, by the fact that he has a lot more max health than Swerb has.
I think Swerv's going to check Bumper Cave. He might check Graveyard Ledge. And where is GTG going to go? At the hook. Oh, he's going to go to Hera.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's going to take this long route around to Hera when he could take the quick route if he had been to Eastern first, but Eastern he can't clear.
Yeah.
Hera he can.
Yeah, exactly. And if he does wait until he by chance finds the bow, it'll play to his advantage. Oh, there's a take any cave store. Go back in.
I love how often people do that when there's something important in a cave that they don't expect anything in. Just immediately walk back out and then, wait, no.
That's a little relief for Swerb. He's up to 6 hearts now.
Now, a check that GTG was not able to do that is now pretty much entirely orphaned for him after he gets the mirror.
Yeah, pretty much. See if it yields anything. Nope, just a blue rupee. So I think we've seen 3 take any caves so far? Or have we only seen 2?
I only recall seeing 2. They both got in 1, and it was a different one apiece.
Okay, so we still have not seen the sword cave, though at the same time, these runners haven't been too interested in checking too many of them. GTG was pretty early, but he's backed off quite a bit. I can't blame him for that. You don't want to spend too much time checking those caves. But that is one sword in the pool. Now, they can only get up to tempered, so if they find tempered, then they don't need that take any sword anyway.
Big word there being if.
Yeah, definitely a big if, because you never know what those other two swords could be.
Sometimes you get lucky and, you muscle memory into Hope Room and there's a tempered sword there and you celebrate. Other times you don't get so lucky.
So Swerve's going to check these upper areas quick. He can get there a little easier with the mirror. And yeah, we're kind of starting to run out of spots to look at.
Yeah,
Still have some, but we've got all of pot. Well, we have pot. We don't know how much of pot, actually. We do have the cave south of the grove. What else do we have? We do have swamp, and I think that's almost looking like that our next play is swamp.
I still support the Pendant Ice Dive.
That is a possibility too.
Fire loves to hide behind Bombos in Ice Palace.
So right now I think it's just a matter of which runner picks up an item that leads them to a dungeon that they need to go into.
Yep, Swerb actually has less options than GTG does, despite having the mirror, because the hammer makes that ice play worse and makes the swamp play be one chest. It makes it really, really annoying to get over the pod.
And I think Swerve forgot he does not have the hammer, because he was going through that portal that is hammer locked. So this is the disadvantage of not having the hammer, is you're basically limited to the Kakariko portal. Little does Swerve know, the hammer's right by the Kakariko portal.
Oh yeah, a comment in chat made me think of the most fun and terrible possibility for progression. There could be a sword in a Take Any cave out there somewhere that has been missed, and the progression could be in Aghanim's Tower.
That's true. Similar to Key Sanity, Aghanim's Tower does have 2 items. Normally key chests, but they will be replaced with items, and progression could easily be there.
That would be the nightmare mode version of how to get that. Oh yeah, there is a second sword out there that we do know of that GTG is going to get soon.
Yeah, GTG's heading up towards the heart, so he's going to get his second sword. Not to take any cave there.
And Swerve going to the vanilla big key chest first is actually really good for him because he's going to get the big key. I was somewhat worried that he might try to skip this chest and would have missed the hammer that way.
So he'll go back, check that big chest, get his hammer. GTG, it'll be interesting to see what he does. Does he go into Eastern here, or does he take the portal and go to Pop?
Yeah, no, I feel like you do check Eastern while you're here. It's just a matter of which one do you do first. And by going to... or by not having the mirror, it's going to be Eastern first in most cases.
Yeah, that looks like exactly what he's going to do. So he's going to get... No, he's not. Never mind, he's going for Pod. Or he's at least going to check this Take Any cave down here.
Swerb not taking advantage of the route through the Skull Woods that doesn't use any keys. But getting his hammer momentarily. Also,
Yeah,
Rip no mirror.
Yeah, GGG's checking these Take Any caves. Got an extra heart out of it, but yeah, the mirror's going to continue to elude him for now. Meanwhile, Swerve picks up his hammer, and we'll have to see what he does with that. Instant save and quit.
Yeah, he's going to go to that portal down by Link's house that he was trying to go to before. Go check out the alternating color cave.
Oh yeah, I don't think he's been in Hive Cave yet. Good point.
And we'll get our first dive into one of the 3 highly likely places for progression in the form of pod very soon.
Now, this could be a quick check. Actually, no, never mind. It can't. In this mode, he can get into the front without the key in that bottom left chest.
Yep, everything is in logic except for the right side, which I forget what's in the bottle. If it's a potion, then he can do the right side as well while he's here. That's $5 in the first chest, as one might expect.
So without the mirror, he's going to have a little tougher time routing this. Now, Swerb, he's got everything for Swamp. Is he going to dive it?
It's looking like he is.
So here's a potential critical crossroads for these runners. Whichever play pays off better could put one runner ahead pretty well. Of course, it's also possible that neither or both plays work out.
Oh, the joys if they both get through their respective dungeons and find nothing. Now, interestingly, Swerb did, with the way he routed everything, he did not check Stumpy alongside K45. So, Stumpy had a sword, and he'll be missing out on that until he gets that relatively awkward to check stuff. I'm guessing he'll do it after Swamp, but it's tough to judge.
Unfortunately, a useless hint on GTG's side. So GTG, there's 9 items he can check right now. Well, 8 or 9, depends on what Helmastar has. Swerb can check all 7 in here.
And the first chest in Swamp is a compass, so that's off to a wonderful start.
It's not a bad thing to find a compass early. It gives you a little more incentive to check the left side. Now, here's another interesting little strategy you can do in Swamp. Since you have so many generic keys, you don't have to grab that one key, and you can just flood it.
Yep, if you're willing to sacrifice that key, then you can actually speed up left side a little bit. It's still very slow, but it's not as slow.
He's gonna grab all these rupees, keep his rupee count up.
Yeah, an interesting note with those rupees is if you pick up even one of them, and then it treats the entire room as picked up for future visits, and they all disappear when you leave the room. So if you're gonna pick up, if you want the rupees, pick them all up your first time in.
And I think we're gonna see GTG set up the hammer jump.
Looks like it, using a sword as a tell and has the visual tell and pulls it off. Great, but doesn't have the big key for the big chest just yet.
Big key could be on the right side, and unless it's in this last chest back here, it is. No, but it's a shovel.
Well, that's unfortunate for GTG, but that shovel could be important. It could even be the bow.
Nice use of the boomerang there by Swerb, since he only has fighter sword. It's not long enough to reach the switch. GTG's gonna go cash in that shovel right away.
Yep, and worth noting that Swerb did exactly what you were talking about, just didn't bother going to pick up the key, just flood it.
No, he did pick up the key.
Oh, he did? I completely missed that, apparently.
So GTG does not pay off, so that's a bust of a pod trip. I think his only 2 options at this point are Ice and Eastern.
And he can't make up his mind, he's going back home. He's gonna go take a nap.
He's grabbing hearts. I think he's gonna go Ice.
Yeah, I think so. Especially now with the Master Sword, it's a lot less scary to die of ice than it was with the Fighter Sword.
Let's see, left side has 5 rupees. And 5 rupees, so not worth checking left side.
Decided to check the Lake Hylia fortune teller to see if it had a sword inside. It did not.
And yeah, GTG is heading straight for Ice Palace. So this could be an interesting play if you find something in here. And at this point, you were just hoping you find something in here. I think this could be a... I don't know if this can be a Take Any Cave anymore, since they put the upgrades back in there.
It cannot, or it should not be able to. I know they were working on trying to fix the glitch where it could be right around release. I believe that's all fixed by now.
So GTG's taking that Bombos. He's hoping to find something in here. At this point, when you're diving Pendant Ice, you are just begging to find something in here.
Well, we find out that some cash is in Thieves Town, so that's some very valuable information.
So I believe it's in retro to be 5 items plus 3 hit tiles.
So it's a very valuable location, and Swamp continuing to be a bust with another 5 rupee in the drowned chest. And we get a generic key out of the first chest, nice. So that is one less thing. Oh, there's a fire rod in Swamp.
That's definitely important. Now, that's not a huge thing for GTG at this point. It's not going to impede his ability to finish Ice, but that does give Swerb the ability to finish up Swamp Palace.
You need Skullwoods?
Yes, Skullwoods. Well, actually, it could help with Swamp too. You could use it on Argus.
That's true, it would be faster than Fighter Sword. And also, we find out that some caches in Super Bunny Cave, so the hints in Ice Palace are really focused on making you some money.
The Swerb starts out with Hammer Strats on Argus, but he's going to go to Fighter Sword Spins. They're about equal in terms of time, I'd say. It's a matter of what you prefer.
Yeah, if, timing-wise, if you menu perfectly between Hammer and Hookshot, then it's about even with Fighter Sword Spins. If you make even one error, then it becomes more and more of a negative comparatively. Having trouble with this last puff here. Gets down, and he is going to use that Fire Rod on phase 2 of Argus. Fire Rod does a Tempered Sword slash worth of damage to Argus when you hit him with it.
And big key, so there is one item in the big chest. I gotta imagine Swerve's gonna come back in and look at it. And then a nice route for Swerve at this point would be to go to Cave south of the Grove, the Haunted Grove, and then back into Skull Woods to finish that. Oh, he's gonna leave it behind.
Yeah, that's not the worst option, but leaving stuff behind can bite you very easily.
At the same time, though, checking it and it being nothing also bites.
That's true. It's just when you check it and it has nothing, you lose like, a minute. When you don't check and it has something, you lose like 20 minutes.
So generic key up here.
GTG pulling off that bomb jump there to go check Ice-T room a little bit quicker, as well as the hookshot lock stuff without using his key. Although I'm not Wait, did he? No, he already checked the hookshot lock stuff. He just wanted to check the hidden tile.
And Swerb gets his Master Sword after finishing Swamp Palace. Oh, and I guess I'm wrong. He's not gonna go to Skullwoods just yet.
The way he said it, it's kind of looking like maybe he's making that pod play.
Yeah, and we know the bow's not in pod, so he won't be able to finish it. We're running out of spots to find a piece of progression at this point.
I want to guess that Ether is in the back of Skullwoods.
I think GGG might have gotten all the items in ice and decided to just leave. At this point, yeah, what's our progression? We don't have much else to look at. But back of Skullwoods is looking likely at this point. I think for GGG at this point, he's got to dip Eastern. He's got no choice. I don't think he's got anything else.
He's got a couple little things like Agina's Cave that are just really out of the way spots, but this is definitely the best play he has.
Oh, Agina's Cave. Oh, man.
Also, the one mentioned earlier, we do have Master Sword in Logic, so Aga Tower could be a very real possibility.
That's true as well. Man. Yeah. This is getting interesting. I mean, at this point for GGG, I gotta think he's gonna find the mirror in here, and he's gonna go straight for Swamp. Because that's the most likely play, or that's the most obvious play.
Yeah, that seems very likely. For Swerb, if he goes to check Pyramid here, which I'm guessing he will, the mirror tag in his tower would be a very wise play to make, so we might see that very soon. Hobo got a heart container, and we already knew that, but it allows Swerb to continue along here.
Now, to clarify for chat, we're not saying they're going to kill Aga. Just check the 2 chests in the tower.
Yep, because, as I mentioned earlier, much like Key Sanity, those are going to be 2 items instead of... Well, I mean, they could be 2 keys. They could roll 2 generic keys, but they're potentially items that could be progression.
But no, he's not going to mirror here.
I'm gonna be straightforward. I feel like that is a mistake in this situation. You don't have enough stuff going on to skip Aga Tower. It might just be forgetting it could be items.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You might just be forgetting that possibility is there, that items could be in Aga Tower. And I don't blame him because you don't generally think about it, except if you're playing Key Sanity. But it is the same in retro mode.
Yeah, pretty much. But hopefully that won't come back to bite. But we are very, very low on possible spots, and that's seeming like a likely one.
Yeah, at this point it's... Yeah, at this point it is either Skullwoods or Aga Tower or Agina. And if it's Agina, you're gonna be kicking yourself so hard. Because you're going to feel so far behind.
Yeah, progression in Agina's Cave is one of those things where you always just immediately feel behind when you get it. GTG saves and quits to Link's house, so that swamp play is looking pretty likely.
If I had to say who's ahead at this point, I would give a slight edge to Swerb. But not much. It still could flip either way.
Yeah, he had that mirror earlier, so he's got a lot less orphan stuff. So couple that with the couple of extra crystals he's got taken care of, and definitely has a slight edge at the moment.
But kind of a good place to take stock of what we still need. And, I mean, we need at least 3 more items. We need the bow. We need the flute. Actually, those are the 2 we absolutely need. We might need a medallion for... Misery Meyer. We don't know yet, though. If Meyer's Bombos, then we just need the bow and the flute.
Yeah, for as little items as they have, they're actually not that far off of potentially having everything they need.
Now, the scary thing to find at this point is Ether. If you find Ether, you almost
Just
have to
go
play Turtle Rock.
immediately. If you find Ether, just immediately go to the Death Mountain. Just, nope, stop what I'm doing. Go to T-Rock. As a note, I'm bad at this game, so ignore what I have to say on that matter. But, you know, probably finish what you're doing before going to T-Rock, and then do T-Rock. It will be interesting to see where Swerb goes next, because he does have a couple options available. GTG obviously going to get the fire run here, and probably take that walk up the Skull Woods you talked about to check Blacksmith and the K-45 on the way.
Yeah, I completely forgot. I was going to say Purple Chest out there, but no, we already know Purple Chest is not needed.
Yeah, I forget what the hint said was in there. I just know it said there was something that nobody wants in there.
Swerve makes the same play that GTG did, forgetting he does not have the big key. I don't know if it's actually more forgetting or just more reflex.
Muscle memory gets you every time.
We also have the big chest in here. We don't know what's in that big chest. The key was on Argus. And I think it's more likely that GTG is going to check this, because he's going to be down to only a few locations.
Yeah, very much seems likely, and Swerb is heading to go check the shovel.
I can't blame him, just got it. You know, you're hoping it led to something, otherwise that was a bad play. Well, not necessarily a bad play, but an empty play.
You never... Go ahead.
I mean, you never want to call a play a bad play just based on the results. It's only a bad play, really, if you had stuff that you could have done that would have had more likely to have a yield to it.
Yeah, in the case of Key Sanity or Retro Mode Pod, there's not much more valuable out there than Pod.
Yeah, exactly. I think Swerve's now going to go for Ice Palace. He has not been in there yet.
Useless Dungeon Part 2. Hooray! It'll be a little bit quicker for him because he's got that fire rod. He can kill the Freezors a little bit faster.
Now, neither of them... I mean, well, GTG doesn't have the fire rod yet, but I was going to say, Swerve hasn't gone to Skull Wars, which just surprised me a little bit. But it could also possibly be they counted items in Skull Woods, and maybe there's nothing left there, though that'd be highly doubtful that there's no items in the back of Skull Woods. I think there's got to be at least 4 items in Skull Woods, and I don't think they found them all in the front.
Yeah, I believe there's at least 1 remaining. Although in Swerve's eyes, without the Bombos medallion, that fire rod also opened up Ice Palace, which is honestly far more lucrative than Skull Woods.
True, but Skull Woods is a crystal, so you got to do it at some point.
Exactly. It's just, I get where the not going to it immediately comes from, just because you look at that fire rod and you're like, well, I can go this place is open for like one thing, or this other place is open for like 8. And GTG will be getting his fire rod here soon. Going to have a little bit easier Argus fight holding on to that Master Sword.
Oh, a little off on his bomb positioning, and he'll have to redo that.
I do really enjoy that you can read that tile and still get the quick kill on the Stalfos Knights. It's always satisfying to be like, yep, I got all this done in one go.
Yeah, it's a nice little bonus. GTG's got his fire rod. Gonna go kill Argus now. With Master Sword, it's gonna be a little easier for GTG. It's still it's still 2 slashes per puff or 1 spin, but you can spin 2 puffs at once.
Well, you can spin 2 puffs at once with the fighter sword too. It's not a huge difference, it just means you can sit there and slash the puffs. You can't actually slash them with the fighter sword, so it makes it a little bit easier not having to spin everything. Although Argus is charging and reclaiming his puffs quite a bit.
Another thing here is GTG did not finish Ice. We think it was because he got all the items, but we're not 100% certain on that.
Got the 3 hit on Argus's first drop down. Very, very nice.
Alright. So GTG grabs his big key. He's finished up Swamp. We'll see if he goes back in. Like that. Based on what's left, I gotta imagine he's going to.
Yeah, I could see the argument for not, but I feel like... Yeah, yep, here it goes.
Take this out for a second there, pulling out that mirror.
So if this is important, it's a pretty rough sign for Swerb. I mean, he doesn't have that much left, so it won't be super long till he gets back here. But...
Oh, there's silver arrows. Did GTG not get those?
Big chest is $5, and I don't remember him opening the big chest of Ice Palace. I don't think he did.
That could be big later on. If this is a close race going into Ganon, and he did not get those silvers.
Yeah, that, it's not a small difference between having and not having silvers, especially if they don't find a 3rd sword anywhere.
And that's a place you're probably not going to go back and check. So, we'll have to keep an eye on that. And I think Swerb did the same thing as GTG. There must be something useless on Cold Stairs, so they both noped out. And I think at this point, I gotta imagine Swerv's going for Skullwoods at this right now.
Yeah, it makes sense. And the compass was missing from Swerve's menu when he paused there, so definitely compass on Cold Stair. Also answering a question in chat, Ganon is 28 spins with Master to get through phases 1 through 3. Without silvers, it's another 24 spins to get through phase 4, for a total of 52. Whereas with silvers, you can get away with in the range of 30 to 32. So that's a lot of time difference.
Now, at some point, you do have to start thinking about pedestal as well, but the good news is, as long as you don't find the ice rod, you don't have to worry about that. Ice rod and flutes, at least. We will find the flute at some point, but we will definitely not find the ice rod. I guess also if you find the book, could happen, but I mean, at this point in the seed, when you've been struggling for so long to find something, it starts to creep into the back of your mind.
Yeah, and the two items that we know for sure we need, the bow and the flute, are only required for crystal dungeons, and they're only required for a couple of them. So it's a situation where the items that are left are ones that actually can be on the pedestal, and that makes it a lot more concerning.
Yeah, but like I said, no ice rod, so you're not worried just yet.
We're about to get this Skull Woods check. GTG going back to finish off blind now. Heart piece in that chest. We're gonna get the rematch. Now, this death to blind didn't really that. I cannot speak at the moment. Didn't really cost GTG much because of Swerb's shenanigans with the light spot and everything.
Now, just for a quick little note here, I peeked at Swerve's menu as he menued. He has no map, so I think the map is on Mothula. That means there's nothing back here.
So, taking bets like Gina versus Aghanim?
I think so. We have 3 locations left that it could be. In the desert of Gina, or in Aghanim's tower.
I'm trying to think of other places. I mean, it could be Spike Cave, but they don't have Burno or Cape to make that be in logic.
And you only have 1 bottle, so I think that also means it can't be in logic by bottles alone.
Yeah, it's bottles alone will never put it into logic, but you always need either the cape or the cane. But everything works normally in Spike Cave and hard mode, so your potions full heal you, give you full magic, your cane and cape take normal magic usage.
So, if you're Swerb, you're going to go check the peg game, because that's still available. And then I think you go and make the long walk to Gina's cave.
Yeah, especially with that lack of mirroring over at when he did Pyramid. I'm not sure the thought of Aghanim is even going to be in his mind, so the desert check seems pretty likely.
So, as soon as GGG finishes off Mothula and Swerb checks the peg game, these 2 runners are basically going to be even in checks and where they are in the seed. I think Swerb will be slightly ahead, but this is about as close of a race as it could be at this point. I mean, it's going to be a little closer, but this is very close right now.
Yeah, it's rare when you find a moment where things converge an hour and 20 minutes into a seed, and both runners are pretty much at the same spot. It doesn't come up all that often.
I guess that chat does bring up one good point. Swerb has silvers, GTG does not.
Yeah, and GTG will never get those silvers unless we find out the pedestal is required and he has a reason to go back into Ice Palace.
Alright, Swerb, you got Bombos. What's your next move? Meanwhile, GTG is going to Mothula. Oh, he's going back into Thieves Town. He never checked the big chest.
Oh, that hurts. That's... His Thieves Town already bit him with the bomb not being quite right, and now it's just going to come back and bite him more.
I think at this point he's just like, I've got nothing left, and he's got to go do it.
Yeah, and I get it, he's not going to be back in this area for a while, so if he doesn't get it now and it's important, then it's... And he also knows the hammer was available before you would need it to go in Thieves Town. It's just, it's going to be a nice slow trip for literally nothing.
GG's walking back through Skullwoods. Did he not check everything in here?
He might be planning to go over to Graveyard Ledge, since he didn't have the mirror earlier.
You're right, he did not have that earlier. I mean, if I'm in these runners' position at this point, I'm starting to just think, if it's Agina, I've lost. So they're just hoping it's not Agina.
Yeah, pretty much.
It still might not be.
Agina is one of those things where you never bet on your opponent having checked it early until you're getting late and haven't checked it, then you're like, my opponent definitely checked this early.
Oh, look where Swerb's going.
Okay, he's aware that Aghanim's Tower can be a thing, and he is headed that way. This is likely the answer.
So yeah, 2 swords, this is in logic. You can get in. There's a potential 3rd sword out there if it's in the Take Any Cave, but we don't know for sure on that. Meanwhile, GTG save and quits. What is his move?
And he's going to the house. Is it Agina or is it Aga?
He's going for Agina.
So we'll very soon know which of these options is the correct option.
Here's our first check. Not there. So it's either the second chest in here or it's Agina.
We got a 50-50 chance on progression. Taking bets. Now here's a question. You're checking this chest here. Do you keep going for the hint tile?
Nope, and it's not here. It's Agina.
Yep, and GTG now arguably relatively slightly in a tiny bit of a lead.
He's checking Take Any Caves while he's out here, though.
Yeah, you might as well. You don't want to walk through this area as much.
So what does Agina have that's been holding us back this whole scene? And how many slashes/bombs does Agina get?
Gotta assume it's either... I gotta assume it's either, honestly. Nothing else opens up enough spots.
It could be flutes, because that'll get them into the mire area, and that'll open up quite a bit, too.
True. Of course it is. Why? Okay, so we're gonna be going to see our dear friend the witch. Swerb just pauses for a moment, like, really?
GGG checked the ledge while he was out there, just to see what was up there.
And it was the right thing to do, although he's now looking like he's taking the slow way over to the witch instead of using this whirlpool south of Link's house. He's gonna walk from Sanctuary.
I think they'll actually both get there around the exact same time. I swear we'll get there a little sooner, but not by much. Okay,
Yeah.
So same question. What does the witch have? And it can't be a fetch quest because we've already seen Powder and Shovel.
Could be book with progression on a tablet.
These runners would be pretty angry, I think, if it's book.
I think they would be, yeah.
Nope, it's the bow. And
Okay.
that's basically been available since the start of the seed. So you did not have to double dip Eastern or Pod.
He slashes at the witch's assistant.
So yeah, if
Okay,
you're
so
both...
now the question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, now the question, is it Easter or is it Pod? Which one has the next step of progression?
You're gonna check both. You're gonna do Pod first, and then you're gonna go to Eastern. But yeah, if you're in these runners' position at this point, you are angry because you feel so far behind when they don't realize they're neck and neck right now. And actually, GGG looks like he's gonna do Eastern first, while Swerb's doing Pod first. Or never mind, he just took a weird route.
Just couldn't make up his mind on what he wanted to do. Probably due to the whole, there was a mushroom at Akina's since the beginning of the game that gave me the bow. And dear lord, my opponent could be done any second.
At this point, though, I mean, even though it's close, Swerb still has the silver's advantage.
Yep, the silver's advantage and a slight advantage in terms of, you know, being further along, just because he's about to enter Pod and GTG is still in the maze.
So you can go to the Bollock side, get the big key. We'll see if they go back and check the big chest first or not. I mean, I think you actually have to, because as much as the bow helps, it only opens essentially 5 spots. 4 here in Pods, the 2 right side items, the big chest, and Helmasar, plus 1 in Eastern, which GGG's going to check first.
Yep, and you really don't want to have to come back to Pod a third time just to find out the big chest turned out to be important. And the silvers that Sword picked up also will not make any difference until Ganon, because this is hard mode, they can't be used outside of Ganon. So they're not going to make a difference on things like Helmasaur or Armos Knights. It's only going to make a difference at the very end.
So I think they got the big key and a blue rupee over here. Swerb is going to go check the big chest first. Wow! That was a bounce back.
That was impressive.
I think he ricocheted off the bumper into the beetle into the pit.
One of those times where you just sit there and you're like, okay, that's fair. I accept defeat. And we are coming up on Armos Knights. We'll be there shortly. Swerb, meanwhile, can't make up his mind.
He's only at a half heart. He can't bomb jump. That's why he's going for Helmasaur. Or no, he's going to just grab the hearts first.
I'm not gonna lie, with a key shop in Kakariko, I wouldn't be concerned about bomb jumping. I would just have taken the long route around there.
Yeah, you got 6 keys at this point, and you got plenty of rupees. I would have considered just going that way too. But basically, you got to do this on the first attempt.
GTG has kind of botched the quick kill here, but Armos are still pretty much not going to be a threat ever.
And there's Flute. And that Swerb just pauses for a second, just like, really?
And we get Quake off the Armos Knights, which could be required for Meyer, so maybe the bow was hiding all the progression.
Well, finding the flutes, depending on what the Meyer medallion is, we could be in go modes.
Yep, it all comes down to if Meyer requires Ether or anything but Ether. And especially finding out that it's that straightforward, there's no, ether medallion in pawn, will probably also make them feel even more behind. Like, it's not even like my opponent could have gotten tricked into T-Rock. No, it was just straightforward.
I'm a little surprised Swerb didn't pick up that fairy. I mean, I guess you don't absolutely need it, but it is a little more protection on Helmasaur, plus it saves you a menu down here.
Yeah, it's a little bit nicer that way. I guess all things considered, 5 hearts is not too low for this point. That's almost actually vanilla.
Well, 5 hearts plus blue mail.
True, so better than vanilla. Yeah, nothing to worry about. Okay, and GTG is going straight to Helmasaur, so this is not going to really lose him time. He's going to go right back in for the big chest. He has no other option.
Assuming Helmasaur doesn't have, like, ether on him.
Oh, don't say that.
But that could also... No, Swerve's going to go check... Swerve definitely will check Eastern because it's a crystal.
Yeah, there's no way that's not going to be what he does next. He takes the 8/ method for the second phase of Helmasaur, and what do we get?
A piece of heart, okay.
Okay, so GTG is safe. He's going to go back in for the big chest. No questions asked.
Yeah, because Quake opens nothing right now. And I think GTG has a chance to come out slightly ahead in terms of routing, because just because he's Swerb kind of, with his wavering there, kind of hurt himself.
Yeah, between that and just the not having to deal with the switch stuff, just being able to walk right back to the back is a little bit simpler. Although GGG having a little bit of struggles with the turtles and Helmasaur, he's not willing to hammer the best he has all seed.
Taking some damage here, but should be fine. Yep, Helmasaur's down.
But neither of them using that NMG hammer Helmasaur space strategy.
And that is 6 crystals for both. Well, 6 crystals for GTG's. Swerve's about to get his 6th. We're just a mire clear away from Ganon's tower access.
Yep,
So
and go ahead.
Swerve should be killing almost right on the time GTG is getting his food. I think GTG actually might get it slightly sooner.
It's definitely going to be super close. They're going to be borderline equal going to activate the flute. What's faster, Hammer Yump or Armos? I gotta bet on Hammer Yump.
Well, GGG's... Never mind. But Swerve didn't get the quick kill either. Swerve, you can't use the silvers.
GTG having a little bit of trouble with the Hammer Yump this time. He got it first try last time without the least bit of an issue.
Oh, he's just struggling. He just used the key. Yeah,
that's where he's going now. Sometimes things just don't work. Things that you've practiced a bunch that you know like the back of your hand, sometimes you just can't make them happen. And nobody ever knows why.
Yeah. I mean, at this point in the seed, I'm not overly worried about keys. I'm mostly worried about trying to finish this as fast as possible. There's GTG's flutes. He'll be about 15, 20 seconds behind Swerb.
Yep, so because of the Hammer Jump struggles, he did come out a little bit behind instead of a little bit ahead, but it's pretty neck and neck right now, and they've both shown some, for lack of a better term, wavering since finding that bow in terms of their execution. They both had little things that make you think that maybe they're sweating it right now.
All right, so it's activating the flute, then gonna be straight to Meyer. And if you these runners, I think you look at that medallion. If you've got it, you go straight in.
And if it's ether, you cry.
Yeah. All right, we're about to see. No, Swerve is just going straight for the. It's Bombos. So we at 1 hour 36 minutes 30 seconds. We've confirmed both runners are in go mode. But they're gonna check for a
They're
tempered
both
sword.
going for the Myers Shed. I actually expected at least one of them to just be like, I don't care, I gotta go.
There is Checkerboard Cave, and there's 2 potential Take Any caves in this area too, but you know you're in go mode, and you've got 22 chests in Gan's Tower.
Yeah, and you're likely gonna have to check a good chunk of them for the big key. Anyway, in GTG's case, he's got a little bit more reason to be looking for an upgrade too, because Master Sword to Tempered Sword Silverless is massive. Master Sword Silverless to having silvers is massive.
Now, they know where the big key is, because they got the hint. It's on the left side. They do have to get a couple key, at least one key before they go over there, though. But they're...
Well, they've only got 5. They don't have to.
Oh, you're right, never mind. So this could be a true go mode Meyer.
You just sit here crossing your fingers that it's the cutscene chest, because then you know your opponent has to do it as well, and you also get a couple seconds to just sit down and calm yourself down and relax for a moment.
Now, these runners do have to hope for one thing, and I'm hoping for them too at this point, because of just how this race has gone. No GT big key on the torch. Okay, it is the cutscene chest with the big key.
Yep, usually you hate it, but a seed like this, especially finding that progression on Agina, that, you know, they probably could have been in go mode within like 40 minutes had they found that earlier. Obviously, that's a what if it's true for a lot of random seeds. But you assume the best of your opponent, and they're sitting there thinking, there's no way they aren't almost done. They're, like, in GT right now, I gotta go.
Now, it's also worth noting, this is not a given Vitreous fight. They can't use silver arrows. And their health count's not the greatest for this dungeon, even though they have blue mail.
Yeah, no cape to make use of. So your choices are either MG strats as much as you can and then try to avoid damage, or sit there and blow through a lot of money using the bow.
Yeah, and you have to save some money for the GT climb. You can't blow all your money here.
Yeah, and with Swerb, he's going to be looking to save at least 280. That'll be for his mimics, as well as for Ganon. For GTG, he's probably going to be looking to save that, but he really only needs to save the 80, because without silvers, he doesn't need any money for Ganon. Oh, GTG, no, you forgot to flip the switch, my friend.
Now, the other thing to note for this fight, GTG grabbed a blue potion. I don't think Swerve's picked up any. So GTG has a little bit more of a margin for error here. Swerve's got to be very careful.
Yep, and a death on Vidi at this point with how close this is could be enough to... It could be enough to even decide the race, honestly. Looks like we are getting that. Arrow strats from Swerb. He switches to the sword pretty quickly.
Yeah, I don't know if Swerve's not aware that it only works on Ganon, or if he's if he thinks he didn't pick up the silvers or something.
Yeah, I think it's just lack of familiarity with hard mode in particular.
He's got to be careful. He just took a hit from those eyeballs. GTG's having a little bit of an easier time, it looks like. Also using arrow strats.
Yeah, he is moving through this fight pretty cleanly. He's actually ahead of Swerb and getting rid of all the small eyes.
But GTG's going to finish first. Swerb will be right behind him, and these two are going to be about equal going into GT, with Swerb having a slight advantage with those silver arrows.
Yeah, right now it's still very much in the realm of the silvers will decide it. But here's where the fun part comes in, because in retro with these generic keys, GT routing is always a question. So we got a lot of options.
But we're getting our game going, though. We have 22 chests in Ganon's Tower. Where do you think the GT big key will be? Now, just for clarification on the game today, since they're both going to be at the same time, if they go both different routes, it'll be based on whoever goes in first. Which looks like it'll be GTG.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty close entrance, so it may get a little bit confusing, but it'll be more confusing to try to track both runners' counts at the same time.
And of course, there is one disaster scenario here. If it's on the GT torch, this seed takes a dark turn.
I'm so rooting for it to be on the torch. I'm sorry, Swerb, GTG, but I want to see it on the torch. And both of them taking the same route to get into GT, going the Light World, opening the portal on T-Rock. As long as you don't get Dead Rock, it is quicker than going through Dark Death Mountain, even still.
They're also both going to be looking for a tempered sword. I mean, even though Sword has those silvers, having a tempered sword makes things so much easier.
That Lano was being a real jerk, trying to make it a little bit closer.
Swerb has to be a little careful at 3 hearts. Both of these runners are don't have the most hearts to deal with. They've got blue mail, but still. This is going to be a little rough.
If they're going to be entering GT within seconds of each other, GTG honestly needs to hope that he finds the big key on his route quicker than Swerb finds it on his, because with the no silvers, the margin of error right now is well within the count of silvers.
Rupees in the first 2 chests. GTG's going right.
Hype Cave continued into GT.
So remember, Swerve's also going right. Remember, we're going to follow GTG's count, though.
A torch room with no boots is always a little bit of a pain. You've got a little bit of spare time, but it's kind of tight, honestly.
And Swerve's at 1 heart. He's got to be very careful.
Yeah, I'd kind of expect a death warp from him after the right side stuff, assuming he doesn't die on the... Oh!
Yeah, not quick enough on those torches. Alright, here's chest 3 through 6. Red rupee. Red rupee. Red rupee. And bombs.
So close to a perfect room.
He's got to be careful on these Gibdos as well. He's taking it very carefully. This is giving GGG a chance to get a little more time, but he needs more if he wants to be ahead of Swerb. But here's the big moment. Number 7 is the book. They're safe. They don't need the boots.
Yep, and Swerb just enough magic to get through there, gets an extra heart, but he's still in just a very, very scary situation.
And he might death warp after this just to get his health back. There you go. Number 8 of Blue Rupee. Number 9, the Cane of Burna. That's our first invulnerability item, even though it doesn't work as well. And 10 is the big key.
There it is, and he's mirroring, heading up. Swerve does take a death warp. GTG is going to have a little bit of a lead. It's not enough to make up for the silvers with Master Sword. He's going to need more than that, unless he finds the Tempered. If he finds Tempered, this should be about the realm of a perfect Ganon fight on both sides will put him ahead slightly. But without finding a sword, he is 100% not going to be able to outpace the Silver's fight with his Master Sword Silverless.
But of course, it's not over just yet in any means. If Swerb struggles to get up the tower, and it could still go to GTG, and GTG has a potion advantage over Swerb.
Yeah, but of course, he would like to hang on to that for the Ganon fight. Master Sword Silverless is a very long process. If you mess up anything, having the spare magic to help is nice. But he's going to use it if he needs to, which is something that, like you said, Swerb can't do.
And the other thing that these runners probably can't do, GGG just passed it up. I was going to say use the safety room. You can do it with a bomb jump, but it's a bit tricky. And so far, GGG's climb's been going a little bit better than Swerv's has.
Yeah, he was having a little bit of trouble controlling those mimics in that first room there, but of course, right as you point out that his climb is going better, GTG has a bit of trouble with the Stalfos room. I got a feel for both these guys, because they both just feel horrible with how the end of that seed played out. They both last possible location the bow, and it just immediately gave them everything else they needed to complete the seed.
Swerb is through the gauntlet. He is going to land Molas 2. Bring out the Fire Rod for this one.
Two out of 3 down with the Fire Rod. He's going to go with some spins for number 3 here to save a little bit of magic for the Wizard room coming up.
Now, one other thing to remember about the tower here. If there's a sword in here, there's only one. Because the other would be in the Take Any Cave, which we never found. But that sword could easily be in Desert or in Turtle Rock as well.
Yeah, the odds of finding it, especially with the early big key, because it could also be in the 12 chest, 13 chest still in the basement of GT. There's just a lot more odds of it not being here than there is of it being here.
GGG's got to be careful when this one gets around those guards. Swerve's going to do some bow strats combined with Master Sword spins on Landmolas. Both of them are at 3.5 hearts. This is tense.
Yep, GTG is 100%.
Oh my goodness. Swerb's down to half a heart.
No!
Oh no! Swerb takes a death, and that could just change the whole complexion of this race.
Yeah, I mean, GTG needed something like that to have comfort level with the silvers, but I wanted him to survive and make this that close through the finish.
I mean, this is not a given climb for GTG either. With 10 hearts and blue mail, having to do 52 spins on Ganon, that's not easy by any means.
Oh yeah, it's 100% still at risk for him. Just if he is able to calm himself enough to put up, the fight that he's practiced so many times before, he should be able to manage.
He's on GTG's on Moldorm 2. Swerb's down to 1 heart again. And if Swerb takes another death, he may not have enough rupees to do silvers on Ganon. But on GTG,
last chest of the game, $5. No tempered sword to be found. Oh, the mini helmet stores in this room without boots are awful.
Absolutely.
I'm surprised that Swerb didn't bomb jump to the safety room there.
He's only got 1 heart.
Yeah, but he's got blue mail, so it only does half a heart of damage from a bomb. So you could have bomb jumped over and gotten the 2 fairies to get back up to full.
But GTG's on Aga 2.
Couple of nice doubles. And there we go. So now we enter the fun part. When I say fun, I don't actually mean fun.
Yeah. So GTG with Master Sword, no silvers, has to do 52 spins to win this fight.
That'll be 12 for phase 1, 12 for phase 2, 4 for phase 3, and then 24 spins within a 2-frame window on phase 4. It's not as hard as it sounds when you say 2-frame window, but it is quite tough, and Swerb taking another death.
Nice little alignment here for GTG to get a couple spins in a row, but he's at 2 hearts himself.
Yeah, he's got a definitive lead right now, but he doesn't have a lot. Blue potion is only going to heal half health, so it's not a be-all end-all.
Now the other thing for GGG, if he does struggle on this fight at all, he will get the silver cents. He could go back for them if he wants, but based on where you think you are, you probably aren't, and as he takes the death.
Yeah, that's probably fine with him. He wanted to get it done, but at the same time, he's going in with more health than he started the first fight with now.
Meanwhile, Swerb, he takes several shots from the BMOS. And he's down below 200 rupees, so he does not have enough for full silvers on Ganon now.
Yeah, and you know that he's tilted right now. That first death, that bow got him tilted. The first death just made it worse, and then it's just grown more and more each time.
GTG's got to be careful again, down to 3 hearts.
He's gonna have to decide when to use that blue potion, whether he wants to save it for phase 4 and have the magic restore, or if the health to make it to phase 4 is more important.
Some good dodging there to avoid those fire bats.
Phase 2 is brutal with Master Sword Ganon compared to any other version of this fight. Honestly, Phase 4, not that much different between Tempered and Master Sword.
Swerb gets nailed, and so does GTG.
The synchronized death. And we're back at it again. So yeah, as I was saying, Phase 1 with Master Sword, if you take it slow, not too bad. Phase 2, Royal Nightmare that is going to kill you if you make any mistakes. And then you got Phase 3, which is easy. And then you've got Phase 4, which is, you know, longer version of Tempered, but no harder.
Yeah, he's at 3 hearts again.
Trident is strong.
Another death.
Oh, and on top of being low on rupees, Swerb just accidentally shot the spike instead of the mimic. He's going to not have enough after this point to get through here again if he dies again.
He'd have just enough arrows if he's perfect, but that's it.
Yeah, I definitely did my math wrong, and a hit to the Trident right away for GTG. These two are both just falling apart at this point. As someone who has raced this game a bunch, when you're in this situation, you are looking at Urk every 2 seconds, looking for your opponent, waiting to see that dot done, waiting to see that those deaths have cost you, and it's not coming, and you just get more and more worried. We got a perfect spot here, though. I would use that blue potion if I was GTG.
And he's going to. He's going to have to use lamp strats most likely in the last phase. And this is nowhere near a given fight. He has no extra magic. He doesn't have to be perfect with his Master Sword spins in the final phase, but he's got to be very efficient with them.
Yeah, as long as you use Lamp, you got plenty of leeway. If you use Fire Rod and you are absolutely perfect, you can make it happen. But if you use Lamp, you got a decent amount of leeway, but you're still going to have to be careful. We are to Phase 3.
Swerb continuing his climb. He gets some rupees here, so he's got some back.
Zero Rush with a good point in chat that people tend to forget how hard GT and Ganon are in Rando. Getting up here with all kinds of safeties and everything every time. Then you get a seed like this and you're reminded, oh yeah, this game is actually kind of tough.
So GG just got his silver arrows, and he's done the torch glitch. Now it's 24 spins.
Yep, and it's a slow, boring process, being completely honest. Once you know Silverless, you can pretty reliably do it without issue. But it just takes so long that the chances of error, especially while looking over at Urk all the time, are way, way too high.
I mean, the biggest thing for GG at this point is to just calm himself, but that is near impossible to do in this situation.
Yeah, but meanwhile, Swerb has made it through the gauntlet. He is heading up to the first torch room. Oh no! Why did I say something?
So he's got to be very careful. He can't even do the traditional route of lighting these torches now, because that usually involves taking a fall. But GTG's doing pretty well on his Ganon fights.
Yep, this is a big moment for both of them. I don't know how many spins GTG has gotten. I've been following both of these two pretty much back and forth, and so I have not been counting very well.
Swerb dancing through those lasers. A little nervous, but got a GTG. He's got to be close to done.
He's got to be close. He's not there yet, but he's got to be close. And just shout outs to him, by the way, for the fact that he has taken not a single hit during this so far.
And there it is. GTG's finished. He just has to walk across the bridge.
And how heartbreaking is it going to be for Swerb to see this dot done? After all he's been through, to find out that he's at the top of GT when that dot done comes.
And there it is. GTG finishes in first place with an official SRL time of 2 hours and 26 seconds.
GG to him indeed. He stuck out a lot of pain there. He was ever so slightly behind going into pod, but he held himself together a little bit better, handled the execution of the late game a little bit better, and that resulted in his victory. Now, Swerb is heading up to Ega 2. He only has 3 hearts, which is terrifying, but if he kills Ega 2, then he will be moving on from there. And we are joined by our winner, SAGTG. How you doing, GG?
Thank you. So I don't like to have SRL viewable while I'm in the middle of a race. So I assumed, based on that bow location, that I probably lost by a good 20 to 30 minutes. So I wasn't even thinking victory was on the cards there.
Well, the interesting thing was you both found the bow about the exact same time. You both last locations Agina, which led to the mushroom, which led to the bow.
Yeah, that felt really bad, especially because I was on a race last night where I pretty much last locationed the bow then too. So it was just, I don't know what I did to the bow that it doesn't want to come to me, but it's just been a thing lately.
So,
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, the bow is one of those things where it happens, but on the bright side for you, I don't know how the one last night went, but this one was just, it was the worst possible location it could have been.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what to make of that.
So, so what happened with Ice Palace? Because you left the silvers behind there. Did you just forget the chest, or kind of just wondering what happened with that?
Yeah, for whatever reason, I thought, okay, Cold Stare has, I guess, probably the map, and then I guess in my head, I already had thought that I had opened the big chest, and so I left. Oops.
Yeah, I mean, this race was so close. Like, you two were, Swerb was probably, no, you were about 10, 15 seconds ahead going into GT. And as you started your climb, it was just Swerb took some deaths on the climb, and that was basically the deciding factor here.
Yeah, in hindsight, I felt a little bad about those Ganon deaths because I assumed that I had lost by a huge blowout. I just was trying to I guess, like, show off and do it without the potion for a while, and then that didn't happen, so I just finally used it and got it done. But that I think a bit of that could have been avoided.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were trying to save that potion to try to go for some Fire Rod strats for Phase 4 to speed it up. That is also that makes sense as a reason to not use it.
Aside from just this seed having a number of issues, I do feel like I did well with the managing the rupees this time, but not having the silvers removed, I guess, some of the temptation to burn some money for faster Vitreous and such.
Yeah, definitely, I think you guys were both pretty even on rupees throughout the whole thing. I think Swerb, after he started having deaths in GT, kind of burned through him a lot. But for the most part, you guys both did quite well on that front.
It definitely was to both our good favor that a lot of the 300 rupees were not in GT today.
It's always nice. So I'm curious, you got, when you guys were early on, Swerb went to Eastern Palace really early, got a sword, got blue mail, he got himself the mirror. You went far, far later and ended up, getting it late. How did you feel when you got the mirror before the bow was even a thing? How did that one hit you?
Yeah, that's a funny thing because just like I said in the last race I did last night, last location the bow. But the weird thing is the mirror was in the exact same chest as it was last night. So when I opened it, I just thought, who shoveled this seed?
Don't you just love that feeling?
Before I went to Dark World, I gave some thought to going over there and at least opening the stuff over on the hospital, but I just decided I'll put it off for now, see what I can do, and then when I did finally get that, it's like, well, I probably should have gone to Eastern Palace before the Ice Palace play, but I was feeling behind already with how long it had been since I found a progression item at that point, that I just decided I'm going to take a shot here.
I was rooting for that Ice Palace play. I was kind of disappointed when it didn't really pay out.
Yeah, I mean, I would have gotten silvers out of it if I'd been paying attention, but I guess I got to get a little more practice with Master Sword Silverless at least, so silver lining.
If it's any consolation too, like we never found the other two swords. We never found the Take Any Cave with the sword, or where the other sword in the pool was. Where at this point we gotta think it's either somewhere else in GT, or Desert, or Turtle Rock for the other sword. No idea what cave the Take Any would have been in.
Oh, that hookshot came back at the worst possible time for Swerb.
Sometimes just occasionally I'll do like an insane difficulty run, and I know the pain of that hookshot just coming in at the worst times. It loves to do that during the game fight. I have the stream up now, and I just now saw that death, and that really just is exactly the kind of thing I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's people think that Master Sword Silverless is tough because of Phase 4. It's not. Master Sword is tough because of Phase 1 and 2.
Yeah, I think for Master Sword again, Phase 2 is really just the big mess. Phase 1 can be tricky sometimes because usually the trident behaves, but sometimes it just goes that extra little bit and then you get hit and it just throws you off.
Oh yeah, the other thing that we never found. How about those boots that just apparently didn't exist?
Yeah, I was stunned by that, and when the Book of Medora was on the GT torch, that felt kind of like rubbing salt in the wound, because if the book had been found at some point, Fruitless Ice Palace dip might have happened, but probably would not have last location to Gina.
That's very true.
You know, again, the stream, Swerb is in Phase 3. He's about to get to Phase 4. If he's perfect with his silvers, he can fire 3 silver arrows and then he'll have to do 6 more spins to finish off Ganon.
And he did remember to switch to silvers, which is a plus. He could have got away with it if he didn't, but... There's his 3.
Do you mind if I share an opinion?
Sure.
So looking at Swerve's silvers and money position, I think if I were Swerve, I would front load the 6 spins and then do the silver shots, so that if something goes wrong and, say, worst case scenario, fall happens, you still have the money.
I like that as a strategy. I actually wholeheartedly agree with that as a plan on how to handle it.
Of course, I'm hoping Swerve gets it done without having to think about that.
Well, he has finished Ganon, and he's crossed the bridge with an official time of 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 51 seconds.
GG to Swerb as well.
We'll see if he's going to join us. He's already. I see him in the restream chats. I don't know if he's going to join us here on the here for the interview or not.
I know there's one question I have for Swerb in particular, whether he's going to join us in here or stay in chat. So in the meantime, is there anything that you actually liked about that seed, GTG?
The early mints and the Moon Pearl being where it was nice being able to route both the light and dark Death Mountain checks all in one go. That's always a really nice feeling. So being able to just do all of it, even having the hookshot to check hookshot cave right away, that was great. Spike Cave being an exception to that, but that was never really in logic, so no complaints there.
Makes sense, and we are joined by Swerb. How are you doing after that chaos?
Not too bad. Hungry.
Makes sense. I gotta jump straight to the first question to mind. How about that Thieves Town, though?
Oh yeah, Thieves Town was a nightmare. I totally forgot about that after the Ganon's Tower fiasco.
Yeah, when I was watching that, I saw the bomb go a little bit too high and not explode the floor. I'm like, no, look.
Yeah, I've never done that before, I don't think. At least not to the point of, like, going all the way to Blind's room, and then there's no light, and I'm just like, darn it. Like, the worst part was, too, like, after throwing the bomb, I was like, oh, that might be a little too high. And then I just, like, opened the chest, and it was like, I think I was at 1 heart, so I was afraid of, like, dying to the crickets. And so I kind of just bailed out of there, didn't really think about it. Because like I had like a brief moment where I was just like, oh, that might be too high, and I just like totally spaced and forgot about it.
Makes sense. So to give you a little bit of a rundown, you guys both last location in the bow. You both got the mushroom within seconds of each other, and then you got to the bow a little bit quicker since you went to the whirlpool south of Link's house. GTG walked from Sanctuary. So you got the bow slightly quicker, and then just routing through Eastern and Pod, GTG took a little bit of a lead, but GT kind of was the deciding factor. He had a bunch of problems with Ganon, you had a bunch of problems with GT, and that kind of made it seem like a bigger difference than it really was through most of the seed.
Yeah, I went back and checked real quick, because, I mean, we talked a little bit in IRC. Both like last location the bow, essentially, and then yeah, I did see that he took a little bit of a lead in Pod. I kind of goofed there. I don't know why I went for the big chest first, especially with like the health situation and stuff, instead of just heading to Helmasaur. That was just kind of like a lapse in like judgment there or something, or routing judgment. And then I saw like, yeah, he was a little ahead during Vitreous, because that was kind of a scary fight for me. And then we were really close going into GT, and so it was really close up to that point. But then I don't even know. I don't even really think I necessarily got tilted. I was just more nervous because I was kind of like freaking out that he hadn't done yet. And so I think like I wasn't really getting tilted in the sense of like getting mad or like frustrated necessarily. It was more just making me more nervous. And so it was all downhill from there.
Yeah, so I mean, this race is interesting in that you guys kind of diverged pretty early, but then about an hour 20 in, you came together when you finally checked Agina for the mushroom that led to the bow. And it was interesting because we were, for the longest time, we were wondering, was it with Agina or is it in Aghanim's tower? And I don't think GGG ever went to Aghanim's tower. Swerb, you did, and ended up coming up empty.
Yeah, I don't. Well, for me, there, yeah, I decided because at that point it was those 3 locations left. So I was like, oh, there's 2 things in Aghanim's tower. Let's check that real quick. And that was also kind of like a gut reaction to the fact that I briefly forgot that it's kind of like key sanity rules and that there could actually be items in Aghanim's tower.
Oh, I never went there because I straight up forgot that fact.
Yeah, because I remember when I was running a fighter sword for a long time. And I checked a couple like caves looking for like a take any cave just in case, but I was kind of like not super worried about it anymore because like I don't really think I could get screwed over by not finding like a master sword at this point, because like Aghanim's tower is kind of like, at least until I find boots or something, Aghanim's tower doesn't matter. And then I was like, oh wait, there's items in there.
Yeah. Yeah, we never found either of the other swords. Didn't find the cave with the take any sword, and we don't know where the other sword is. At this point, it's either somewhere else in GT or Desert or Turtle Rock.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think that's kind of what makes the hard retro a little bit interesting, is like there's a fairly decent chance that you're gonna be stuck with Master Sword unless you like search too much, essentially, because like all of those, like checking all of those potential take any caves is really like, it adds up and it's pretty slow.
We were talking about it early, like GTG in his early route was checking out every possible location for take any cave. You kind of just more, I don't know what the word is here. You maybe YOLO'd it. I don't know.
A little bit. Like I was just kind of like, I feel like checking this. Like I don't know. I didn't feel like being systematic and checking all of them. It was just kind of like on a whim. Like there's literally no real logic or strategy to it. Like I wasn't gonna run like across the map to check things. It's like I checked the things that's like ice cave and stuff like that, and like things that were convenient. But it was just kind of like, I'll check this.
You both had an equivalent collection rate of 151 out of 216. I guess considering how the scene played out, that makes perfect sense. You basically all both checked the exact same things. I mean, I'm not sure what the extra 2 items GTG checked that you didn't Swerb when you went up to Aghanim's tower.
Yeah, I was just trying to think of what those 2 might be as well, and I got nothing.
I know I probably opened a couple extra chests because I was looking for silvers.
I think Swerb opened the same chest on the climb. I think you both opened the exact same chests in Ganon's tower. I think you opened the same chests in Meyer.
Did you? Yeah, you got the hint for the big key in Meyer being like left side, right? So you only opened those 2.
Yeah, I had that hint, so I just went straight left.
That reminds me, were you guys, were you relieved when it turned out the cutscene chest had the big key and gave you, 15 seconds to just sit back and relax a bit.
Yeah, that was kind of a nice moment. Just it feels bad to check that chest when it turns out to be nothing, but knowing that it has to be what you need, it's just, hey, well, take a little breather.
Yeah, exactly. And like, yeah, with that hint there, like knowing that like your opponent like checked the same 2 chests, it's a little break, I guess, before the end.
Oh, I think we should start wrapping up here. Do you guys have any final thoughts on the seed?
Um,
I'm gonna say, I mean, not really. Like, I was nervous a couple times there, particularly when I found Fire Rod and Swamp, because I feel like I got to that a little late. Like, my Dark World routing in general was a little all over the place, because I found that hammer I found kind of like you, because I was tempted. I don't know when you checked Skullwoods GTG, but I
super
did-
early.
yeah, I did quite a few things in the Dark World before I decided to check the front of Skullwoods. So like finding that made me a little nervous, and then obviously when I found the mushroom, and like knowing that was gonna lead to probably the bow, like it had to be like the bow or the flute, but for some reason like, oh, this is probably gonna be the bow. I definitely was like, oh, I'm probably super far behind because it was like 84 minutes in, and there was like a time early on I was considering swinging down to check Desert Cave, but then I kind of decided not to. And I was like, oh man, what if he went there super early? Because some people like to do that.
Yeah, I assumed there was a good chance that you did, so I just thought, well, that's the game. I thought about going there at the beginning, but I thought, nah, tonight's not the night for that.
Yeah, I also did, like, I skipped out on Ice Cave for a little bit, which I normally check, and that's kind of why I was thinking, like, maybe I'll go check Desert instead or something, but I just decided to do neither and go to Eastern. But yeah, congratulations, dude. Good game, and best of luck to you and the rest of your matches in the group.
Thanks, and I'll be
But
looking
not our
forward to
third
seeing
match. That
what you pull off, and we still have our game 3 to look forward to. So it'll be interesting to see what the shuffle pulls out for us.
yeah, I'm excited for that one. Like I was telling you, like before this race, like I didn't really pick this for like any particular reason, thinking like, oh, I'm gonna be so much better at retro or anything. I was like, let's just do something different. So I'm hoping the random one's pretty fun.
Yeah, I took the same approach to my pick last night, picking Randomizer against Sonicam. So sometimes just picking something you think will be interesting or fun, that's what's really worth doing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good way to look at it. So yeah, well, thanks to both of you for running. Good game to both of you guys. Good hanging in there to finish it out. So yeah, can probably wrap up here. So thanks to our runners. Make sure to give them a follow if you enjoyed watching them race today. They are generally always racing and always streaming, so make sure to give them a follow. Also, thanks to our tracker, Mind of Me, for keeping up with everything today, and thanks to my co-commentator, Mentos Man.
Thank you as well. Pleasure working with you.
So looking at the schedule, we have one race currently going on over on Speed Gaming 3. Firewood King is taking on Chex Human in a open defeat Ganon normal mode seed. So kind of a bit of a step down in difficulty from what we saw here. And then after that, and then after that, we also have our action begins up again tomorrow morning at 8:30 Eastern. So make sure to check out the schedule for plenty more action still to come in this tournament. We're nearing the halfway points in the group stages, and we're about to get into those critical late game races that could decide who makes it into bracket and who doesn't. I don't think there are many groups right now where you can say anybody is out of it.
Yeah, for the most part, it seemed to be pretty good competition overall. It's been it's gonna get interesting come those game 3s when it starts being nobody's choice, just whatever the bot rolls.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see how these last weeks play out. Some of these groups have been different in that some groups are like, okay, I'm just going to get all 3 of my matches against one person done to start. Others are like, I'm just going to balance it out and, play everybody once, then everybody a second time, and everybody a third time. So different strategies have been interesting to look at. But yeah, that's all right. I think we should wrap it up here tonight. So thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure to tune in for some more action tonight or tomorrow, and have a good night, good day, or just enjoy wherever you are.
Yeah, take care, everyone. See you next time.